Arsenal handed VIKTOR GYOKERES boost after transfer clause agreement has been reached. This is the title of 5 newspapers in the UK. Scouts have watched VIKTOR GYOKERES play this weekend just gone against Bilbao, and there is an agreement with VIKTOR GYOKERES and Sporting that if the money comes in, he will be able to leave. And there are a lot of ITKs, a lot of journalists coming out there now strongly linking Arsenal to VIKTOR GYOKERES. If you're new to the channel, please go down, hit that subscribe button. The road to 16K is well and truly on. 97% of everyone who watched yesterday's videos were not subscribed. 625 subscribers away from 16,000. So if you haven't already, get down, hit that subscribe button. The like game is incredibly strong on this channel. If we could hit 500 likes, that would be absolutely fantastic. Big up to every single one of you who's been leaving comments, liking the videos, sharing the videos, hitting subscribe buttons. It means the absolute world. Now, if Arsenal get GYOKERES, I'm going to be honest, they win the league. I said this yesterday, and now there's even more reports coming out. The Daily Mirror, one of the biggest newspapers in the UK when it comes to sport, has come out, and this is the title. Arsenal handed VIKTOR GYOKERES boost after transfer clause agreement has been reached. And just in case people don't believe the Daily Mirror, it's the exact same title on Football London. There you go. The exact title. Arsenal handed massive transfer boost as VIKTOR GYOKERES reached agreement. Now, this is by multiple sources in Portugal. Now, I don't know how reliable the sources are, but there is a growing interest that he will be an Arsenal player. Sporting Lisbon have dropped the biggest hint yet that VIKTOR GYOKERES could be sold this summer after paying to reduce Coventry City's sell-on clause. The Sweden international, who's 26, is being courted by a host of top European clubs, including Arsenal, after enjoying a remarkable maiden season with the Portuguese Giants. He then goes on to say, GYOKERES planted 43 goals in 50 games of Sporting Lisbon after leaving Coventry in a deal worth 20 million. The championship outfit inserted a sell-on clause into the deal during negotiations, but the amount of said clause has now been reportedly reduced. As revealed by Sporting have paid a sum of €2 million, which is £1.7 million, to take Coventry's 15% sell-on clause down to just 10%, a move which could seriously pay off in the coming weeks. Then it goes on to say, with GYOKERES continuing to attract interest, the striker has been expected to leave for less than 100 million, which is £86 million, due to a release clause written in his contract. Any deal would have been seeing Coventry net a tidy sum. And while they will still rake in a portion of any deal GYOKERES were to move before next month's transfer deadline day, Sporting will now keep a higher proportion of the fee. The next paragraph says Arsenal are one of the teams who have been monitoring GYOKERES, but it remains to be seen if they firm up their interest of the striker while missing out on a deal for top target Benjamin Sesko, who signed a contract with Red Bull RB Leipzig. Now, if Coventry are getting money paid to them to reduce a sell-on clause, now that would tell me that Sporting believe he is going to leave this transfer window. That's what that kind of tells me. Now, I look at Arsenal, I look at what they need. They scored around 120 goals in all competitions last season in the Champions League, League Cup, FA Cup, Premier League. And a lot of their fans believe they need a striker. They've also been linked to a lot of wide men. Leroy Sané is a name that keeps coming up. Rafinha and Nico Williams. Now, Nico Williams, it's looking likely that he's going to stay at Bilbao for one more season and show his loyalty to Bilbao. And then he will leave next year. So that will be an interesting situation next summer. Will it be Arsenal? Will it be Barcelona? Will it be Liverpool? Who knows? But do Arsenal, if there's a VIKTOR GYOKERES agreement in place that the GYOKERES' sell-on clause has been lowered, then surely Sporting Lisbon believe he is going to leave. And if you go on to whatever wherever you get your information from, whatever source, there's a lot of people now that are linking Viktor Gyökeres to Arsenal, as well as according to the Standard, Arsenal have held fresh Gyökeres talk. Fresh Victor Osimhen talks now. Via Team Talk, it says Arsenal hold fresh Viktor Gyökeres talks. Now, I think he's more likely at present he joins Chelsea. We did a video about that earlier, so make sure you go and check that out. Arsenal linked with the signing of a new striker for months, but the trial has gone on somewhat cold in recent weeks. Still, the Gunners have said to have held talks with one of the biggest names in world football right now. According to reports in Italy, Team Talk, Arsenal have been in discussions with the Italian giants. Now, that doesn't clearly say if the discussions are with agents or with representatives of the player. Now, in terms of Viktor Gyökeres, I think there's an agreement in place that Lukaku joins Chelsea and Gyökeres goes in the other direction. What I would say about that deal is I think it's very unlikely at present that he joins Arsenal. I think there is a lot more chance Viktor Gyökeres, if that release clause is being lowered down, then of course Sporting want to take more profit of a sale. That just tells me there's a likelihood he will join Arsenal, or at least now. Smith Rowe has left the Arsenal training camp and has joined Fulham, and it's looking likely now that he will 100% be a Fulham. Sorry, that's about Chiesa. It's the bit above it, which is about Smith Rowe. Here we go. Smith Rowe leaves Arsenal training camp to undergo medical at Fulham. Of course, this is 100% profit for Arsenal. In my opinion, it's a big signing for Fulham. It's their record signing. For Arsenal, it just improves their FFP. Emile Smith Rowe will undergo a medical at Fulham in the next 24 hours ahead of a £34 million move for Arsenal. Fulham will pay 27 million spread across 4 years, plus a further 7 million in add-ons, representing a club transfer fee. The midfielder left Arsenal's preseason tour in the United States on Monday, and his medical will be completed within the next day. And it's a somewhat sad day if you're an Arsenal fan. If you're a rival fan like me, you don't really give too much of a crap about it. But I understand why Arsenal fans are somewhat sad. It's an academy player. Now, another interesting situation is regarding, believe it or not, Fabrizio Romano has just retweeted literally why I'm recording this video regarding Mikel Merino. His tweet from 2 days ago, he's just tweeted saying Arsenal are prepared to advance in talks to Mikel Merino's camp next week after positive contacts. He's not the only name, but well-positioned price tag requested by Real Sociedad will be key. Arteta appreciates him as soon as he and Emile Smith Rowe leaves, can proceed. Now, Smith Rowe, of course, that medical is booked, so it's the likelihood now that he will be joining Arsenal within, the next coming /week or 2 weeks. I think Merino will be an Arsenal player. Now, another situation that's developing in Manchester City, which is an interesting one regarding Alvarez or Alvarez. I always butcher the name. Now, he apparently wants to leave. Various reports coming out that Chelsea and Arsenal have an interest. Of course, Chelsea and Arsenal, when it comes to buying Manchester City players, have both got very good relationships. Sterling and Palmer both joined Chelsea. Kovacic joined City. Over the years, Sanya, Clichy, Adebayor, lots of players over the years have joined Manchester City. And in recent times, Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus have gone on to join Arsenal from a Manchester City side. Now, in terms of Alvarez, the quotes come out last night saying, "I feel good at City. We will see what happens after the Olympics. Maybe it's annoying to be out of big games. Players always want to help on the pitch, but my season was good, so I'm very happy." Now, Guardiola come out with a response, and it was somewhat I don't want to say it was like Guardiola's got a very interesting management style because if a player wants to leave, he's always remained this point that the door is always open. He's always remained the point that if a player wants to leave, he will not stand in their way. And he's always kind of made that clear with regards to Manchester City players. Even at Bayern Munich, when players wanted to leave, he didn't stand in their way or stop them. Now he's responded to these comments saying, I read that he's going to think about it. Okay, think about it. Then he will inform us what he wants to do. Julian played a lot. He wants more. It's fine. So that's why. Think about it. And when he thinks about it, he will inform us. Now, that's not really a manager that's coming out and saying he wants to, like, I would love Alvarez to say, or Alvarez to stay. He's not coming out and saying that. He's coming out and saying that if he wants to go, basically, he can go. Now, this is a very interesting subject because Julian Alvarez, in terms of his CV, he has won the biggest of biggest honors. He's won 2 Copa Americas with, the likes of Argentina and the World Cup. He is a player who's won the Premier League, won the Champions League, won the FA Cup. He did a treble at City. He's won 2 Premier League titles now in back-to-back years. He is a very, very, very decorated player already in a Manchester City shirt. Club World Cup, 2 league titles, FA Cup, Super Cup, Club World Cup. He's absolutely won everything. Now, Julian Alvarez, in terms of his stats in a Manchester City shirt, they're actually relatively good. 67 games in the Premier League, 30 goal contributions. I think that's a very good return for a guy that doesn't really start in his main position week in, week out. He's kind of played as a 10. He's kind of played as an 8, as a winger. He's played everywhere other than the out-and-out number 9 because obviously they've got Erling Haaland. 30 goal contributions. Apologies, there's an advert there. 30 goal contributions in 67 games. For me, it is a very good return. One Super Cup game. Champions League return, 12 goal contributions in 17 is also very good. Overall at City, he's had more than 50 goal contributions in 103 games. So he averages more than 0.5 goal contribution, or he averages 1 goal contribution every 2 games. Chelsea and Arsenal are interested. That's the sort of signing that both Arsenal and Chelsea should be all over. Now, the question is, does VIKTOR Gyökeres or does Julian Alvarez suit Arsenal more? Who suits Arsenal more? Now, Arteta loves versatility. So Alvarez would make more sense on the versatility side of things. If you want raw firepower and you want goals, VIKTOR Gyökeres makes sense because he's an absolute goal machine. Alvarez is a little bit younger. He's only just turned 24. VIKTOR Gyökeres is 26. Alvarez is Premier League proven, has more Champions League experience, has won more trophies in England, and brings more of a winning mentality into that dressing room, which I think Arsenal could benefit from. But if VIKTOR Gyökeres is available, I think Chelsea look at Alvarez and go, we're getting Osimhen. If Arsenal have the opportunity to sign Alvarez, they have to break the bank, in my opinion. He's valued at 70 million euros, or 70 million pounds, with about 17 million in add-ons. Now, I don't know how realistic those add-ons are. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know how realistic they are by any stretch of the imagination. It could be if a team wins a trophy, if a team wins the league, how many goals, how many Premier League appearances, how many Champions League appearances. They could be very, very realistic. They might not be realistic at all. But a player like that could be on the market, for me, Arsenal have to snap him up. Imagine Alvarez in a front line with Havertz and Saka, with Martinelli and Saka, with Trossard and Saka, with Jesus. it gives them a lot more of a dynamic approach. Plus, Eddie Nketiah, Reece Nelson, and Smith Rowe, the likelihood all three of those will be sold, which is 3 academy graduates, which is 3 homegrown players, which is 3 players probably contributing to close to £100 million, because they're looking at 40 million for Nketiah, 35 million, 27 million for Smith Rowe. That's 67 plus the add-ons is another 8, which I don't know how realistic they are. That's 60, 70 million. And if they get around another 20 million for Reece Nelson, you're looking at 90 million pounds, which will be a 100% pure profit, which will be fantastic for Arsenal's FFP. And then you then look at a player of a Julian Alvarez, who's got Premier League experience, Champions League experience, won the biggest trophy you can win, which is a World Cup, and won 2 Copa Americas. And this guy's stats for Argentina are very, very, very good. Very, very good. You know, they are, when it comes to playing for his country, he is very, very impressive. You know, when it comes to playing for, you know, like last season, he got 4 goal contributions in the Copa America and obviously won it. You know, for me, if Arsenal have an opportunity, they have got to break the bank for him. You look at the positions he's played in his career. You know, 20 as an attacking mid, 110 striker, 29 second striker, 50 appearances on the wing, and a few other appearances on right midfield and left midfield. He's played, look at his stats for both River Plate and Manchester City. I'm sorry, but if they get an opportunity, they've got to break the bank for him. 81 goal contributions in 122 for River Plate. And more than 50 goal contributions. More than 60 goal contributions, sorry. No, 52 goal contributions for Manchester City. 54, sorry. You have to snap him up if he's available. Let me know your thoughts down below on VIKTOR Gyökeres' agreement to have his sell-on clause chopped down a little bit. Would you, if you're an Arsenal fan, would you rather Julian Alvarez or VIKTOR Gyökeres? Because I think that's a very interesting subject. Make sure you go down, drop a like on the video. Make sure you have subscribed. We are closing in now on 16,000 subscribers. The road to 16K is well and truly on. Drop a like on the video if you haven't already. Get your comments in down below. And yeah, it's going to be a very, very interesting remainder of the transfer window. I am